Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making tutorial. We are going to feature the Little Delights stamp set for today's card. This is a nice photopolymer stamp set that covers all our seasonal celebrations. We've got some thank yous, a little bit of Halloween, a little bit of Christmas in there. So quite a nice little set just to cover those bits and pieces if you don't make a lot of any one or other of those cards. So I decided just to make a really nice thank you card from the set. So we've got this beautiful thank you in a nice basic font, which I think is really nice, and I've used this leaf design to create this motif on a die cut from the Stitched So Sweetly collection. And this really cute, this is a new ribbon. I've only just got this. This is the Highland Heather ribbon, grosgrain ribbon. It is Highland Heather, isn't it? Yeah, Highland Heather. So I picked some of that up. So it's a Highland Heather card base there, and I've used Pear Pizzazz and soft seafoam for the leaves, a little bit of ink in just to lift that up. Really nice, clean and simple thank you card. So we're going to replicate it again, and you know I like to give you different colour options. So we're going to switch out the leaf for this one with the sort of oak leaf and stuff, and we're going to go a little bit more autumnal with the colours. Okay, and I'm going to use Pale Papaya as my card base because I want to use this, another new ribbon to me, this lovely Pale Papaya and white ribbon. So it's got like a white edge on it. Isn't that gorgeous? It's quite thick but really nice and soft, makes nice bows, so really easy to tie bows with. Okay, so really nice. So that's what we've got there right now, and in fact we may as well get that put onto the card straight off. And I have die cut one of the Stitch So Sweetly panels. This is the second to largest one, ready for doing our stamping. Okay, so our ribbon then I'm going to put just below centre. It's not really a third, it's just below centre. All right, so almost ribbon thickness below the centre, just to offset that. So I'm going to just apply just a bit of my stamping seal across the back there and sort of drape that over so it's got sort of all its tails at the one end. So there's plenty of ribbon there, and I'm going to, I think, stick that about there. Probably really close to the camera, it's probably all flickering, it's autofocus, but I'm securing it on the back where I want it to go, making sure I've got plenty of tails ready to do my tying. So what I like to do is stick this onto the card base and secure that ribbon so that I can tie that nice and tightly. So I'm going to use plenty of Stampin' Seal on this, not more than I would normally, especially around the ribbon there, and get that adhered onto our Pale Papaya card base that I've already got there cut and scored in the normal dimensions. The Whisper White, or Basic White I should say, sorry, is isn't quite a full layer. I've taken off an extra 1/8 of an inch, so this is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, and then we can just tie our knot over here, just a very simple knot. Try and keep that first one nice and tight while you wrap the other one, and just tie that nice and securely. Okay, going to take both ends and just pinch those between my fingers and cut those together at an angle, and hopefully they will be roughly the same length. So there we are, card base is done. So this ribbon will easily fray, and that might be a nice feature actually. Give you a nice little sort of vintage feel to it. Okay, so that's our card base done. Okay, so we've got our little piece of our die cut. I'm just going to bring in some scrap paper so I can do my stamping. I've got my Pale Papaya ink for the sentiment, which I haven't cut a strip for, so we'll get that out. And I've brought in Cinnamon Cider and Cajun Craze as my foliage inks. I'm going to use the lighter Cinnamon Cider first and build up my image sort of around that bottom left corner there. Okay, so we're going to bring this in. That's actually quite dark, isn't it? So let's bring another one in here, and that's got that's been stamped off. Let's just make sure it's a whole image. Let's bring in some second generation as well, so it's not quite so dark. Okay, really good way to get depth in your stamping is to use the different generations of ink just to build up our image. Just know where to put it sometimes. Even I struggle. That sounds like I'm some kind of expert, but I'm not some kind of expert in any way, shape or form. So, you know, it's hard putting things in the right place, and sometimes you have to just do a bit of experimentation. Okay, let's just leave it at that and see what happens when we add in our Cajun Craze. So there's a lot more orange in this, so that's going to be quite dark, but because we've already got some dark ones on, we do need some dark ones just to sort of balance everything out, which is fine. So I was intending on just using this colour a little more sparingly. See, I'm not liking how this is turning out actually. Right, let's go plan B. I'm going to do it live on the video. Okay, let's start that again. So I'm not really liking how that's turned out, so I'm going to grab my die and we're going to cut another piece of this. That's the Stitch So Sweetly die that I was using. So I'm just going to have to clear some space just so that I can get to the plates here. Got some, cut a piece of cardstock. I haven't cut that at a particular size. I happened to do it at 4 inches and that fits perfectly. I didn't actually know that would be the case. That was just pure coincidence. That was the right width for that. Do you know what? Sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you think it's going to, so you have to have another think about it. So there we are. Bring back the scrap. This time I'm going to try coming in with my Cajun, putting in my dark colour, just a little bit around the edges, preferably fully stamped. Okay, that's it. Clean off the stamp and then we'll do some second generation cinnamon cider to fill out the design. That's what we'll do, and I think that will look a lot better. So that's how we should have started. A little bit of ink on my stamp block. Shouldn't end up on the project, but you just never know. So it's always best to err on the side of caution. So stamping off between each application of this stamp, and we're just going to build that up. It won't matter if things overlap so much now, because it just won't get so muddy, because it's all so much paler. Rotating the stamp round, trying to make sure that those stalks don't really come in. Right, much happier with that, and then I'm going to stop there. Okay, and while we've got the cinnamon cider ink out, I'm going to add a little bit of ink around the edges, just trying to find the right brush for that. Let's go with that one, and I'm literally just going to tap a couple of, take it all off pretty much, okay, and just use a little bit of residual ink just to enhance the edge, which will help it come off the page when we put it onto our card base. That's it. Okay, totally optional, don't have to do it, but I thought it would just help lift that slightly. We do need a 1/2 inch strip of cardstock for our sentiment, so I'm just going to cut that half strip there. A little tiny piece for our sentiment. And of course, because it's photopolymer, we'll be able to stamp our sentiment nice and straight over the top of that, she says optimistically, like so. Nice pale colour, it's beautiful. And we're just going to shape the ends just to make it look a little bit more interesting. We don't need to have a die or a special punch for that. We can just flip it off at an angle, and it instantly just makes it a little bit more interesting than just having a little strip on there. Dimensionals on these, so this strip just needs a couple, just there, and then the dimensionals to put on these bits, we want to be mindful that we're not sort of in a dimensional right where we want the bottom to stick. We don't want to put one behind here because it won't stick to the ribbon, so we need to put that as close to the bottom as I can, next to that stitching. Okay, take off those back ends. And I am going to use some wet glue just to help this stick down. And this is stronger adhesive than the dimensionals on their own. So dry adhesive is great, and it's absolutely fine for sticking your cards, and I use it all the time. But when you've got you're trying to sort of stick over a bit of an uneven surface like this, you want to make sure it's nice and secure and get it straight, a bit of wet glue goes a long way. Okay, so that's going to grab that in the first instance, and then we can just add our little sentiment here, which I deliberately put over the overlapping the ribbon and the edge of the design here. Just draws your eye into the design, and then we're just going to use some rhinestones just to enhance that, my little trio of rhinestones. So medium one and a couple of small ones in my little trio. Just like that, and that's our card done. Okay, so I like the Highland Heather one, bet you Audrey does as well, but nevertheless, it gives you some colour ideas, and that's the whole point of me sharing these with you. I just want to give you ideas of what you can do with your stamps, and it doesn't have to be complicated. I've literally just used a couple there to create really, really nice little thank you cards, and I think they're really, really lovely. Both of them. This turned out much better. Oh dear. So there you go. Bit of super live crafting that was. Hope you've enjoyed it anyway, and please do check out the description. All the products I've used are going to be linked there. They can go straight in your basket from there. All my blog links and all that kind of stuff are in there too. If you have liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, pass it on. Thank you so much. Take care. See you soon. Bye.